I tested every legendary gun in Arc Raiders. So there is a total of 3 legendary weapons in Arc Raiders. So we have the Equalizer, the Jupiter, and the brand new Aelion. So to get your hands on these legendary weapons, you're going to need to find the blueprints for them. And it won't be an easy task to do so. So to get the new Aelion blueprint, you're going to have to kill the Matriarch. And not only will you have to kill the Matriarch, you're going to have to rush in and loot the core of him before anyone else does. And now for the other 2 legendary weapon blueprints, the Equalizer and the Jupiter, you will indeed have to do the Harvester raid. The Harvester raid is indeed the raid event. Once you complete the Harvester raid and you loot all 3 sections, you will have a chance of getting the Equalizer and Jupiter blueprints. While it is no easy task to unlock the blueprints for these weapons, it definitely is super fun and I really did enjoy doing so. But I had one thought while I unlocked them: are these weapons actually any good? So there's only one way to find out, and we're going to hop in and test them out in PvP and PvE. These weapons shine in PvE, that's what they're made for, but we're also going to check them out in a little bit of PvP and see which one is the best, which one is worth your time and which one isn't worth your time. So let's hop straight into it. So I think it's best if we start this one off with the Aelion. The Aelion is indeed a hit scan energy weapon. All of these weapons will be using energy ammo. And it's good to know that the Aelion is the only weapon that you can actually put mods on. You can put 2 attachments onto the Aelion. None of these weapons can be upgraded. So let's take a look at this hit scan. Yeah, pretty direct. Now there is something to know that when using the Aelion, that when you hip fire it, you've got 2 bullets, 2 energy bullets there coming out, and there is a lot more of a spread. When you single fire it, it's pretty direct. 2 of the shots are very close when you're ADS, and that kind of makes it have like a little bit of a shotgun feature, I guess. Now that can come in handy, but that can also be very, very dangerous in PvP. Like, let's take a look here. I'm aiming directly at him there. My bullet actually missed him. I was right in his head, and my bullets missed him there. Play it safe, and going for the body shot if you're hip firing is definitely the way forward. So the best thing to do now is hop in and test this thing out on some arc. It's doing big damage there, but yeah, that's not bad. Some big damage. Definitely thought I would have killed the Surveyors a lot quicker than that. So the Surveyor was indeed the first arc I got to fight with the Aelion, and honestly I wasn't that impressed. So the Matriarch is indeed on this map, but the ammo, I don't think we have enough ammo to kill her. But even if we can just attack and see what sort of damage it's putting out, we can at least get a kind of a feel for how good this weapon will be if we ever want to solo the Matriarch. One thing to bear in mind, if you are thinking of buying ammo for these energy weapons, make sure you have a couple of million in your back pocket, because this stuff is very, very expensive. So we get the chance to use it on a Hornet here. Now you will see it actually does kind of throw the Hornet around. It's one good thing, probably the only good thing about the Aelion, is when you shoot the arc, it does indeed kind of throw them around. Now the overall damage, I would much rather use an anvil to kill a Hornet than I would the Aelion, if you ask me. I'd be a little bit concerned if it didn't take the fireball out in one shot. As expected on any of the weaker arc, that it will indeed one-shot them. I think I'm using it wrong or something. Am I not using it right? This was my first round using the Aelion, and it didn't feel great. The damage I was putting in, compared to using the Hull Cracker, this thing felt terrible. I'm not gonna lie, the Aelion felt absolutely terrible. I feel like I'm using this thing wrong. The Leaper will jump up there. Like, he'd be dead by now if I was using the Hull Cracker. This is in fact true. The Leaper would be dead if I was using my Hull Cracker. I guess the hit scan on it's pretty nice though, right? He would 100% be dead by now. think there's something special about this, I'm not gonna lie now. That's a long time to kill a leaper. Like, if I was using the hull cracker for comparison, he would be dead by now. Yeah, we did miss a couple of shots on him. It was our first round using it, but that still took a long time. After finally killing the leaper, it was time to test out the Aelion on some other arc. Throughout the whole round, you can hear me saying this, I actually felt like I was using the gun wrong. That's how bad it was. The Aelion was pretty terrible. It was direct out in the corner. The plus side, you do get 10 rounds in a mag instead of the usual 5 with the hull cracker, which is 5 more rounds bigger than the Jupiter, and it is a lot less than the Equalizer. The Equalizer has 50 rounds in a mag. Am I using this thing wrong? What's going on? So after quite some time, we finally got this Bastion killed, and I definitely wasn't impressed with the Aelion so far. Okay, there we go. Bastion is if this thing struggled against a leaper, it's definitely going to struggle against this Rocketeer. The only plus side of using this weapon fighting against a Rocketeer is that if he is halfway across the map, you can hit scan him. By the time he gets you, you might actually have him somewhat dead. So we barely got to test it on there because there's just so much other people in the server, but I can tell you right now, using the Aelion against a Rocketeer up close like that is definitely going to be a little bit of a struggle for you. As I was saying, from range with the hit scan mightn't be too bad. So in this round, I actually run out of ammo with the Aelion, and one thing I've noticed in this round as well, a lot of the other players were using weapons such as the Jupiter and the Aelion. And this is probably the first round I've ever had where a full lobby couldn't actually finish off the matriarch. So we have 2 things left to do to actually test out this weapon to see if it is any use whatsoever. We have to kill the queen, and we also have to test it out in some PvP. So after finally killing the queen with a little bit of help from other people in the lobby, I do think that we would be able to solo the queen with the Aelion. It would definitely be a lot harder to solo with the Aelion than it would be with the likes of the hull cracker. Put down the small boat. There he goes. Now is the queen killed with the Aelion. Alright, 3 shots to down him there with the Aelion. 3 shots. Okay, we don't have too much ammo left. I'd like to test it out one last time here on someone from a bit of range to see if we can actually get the knock on them. See if the hit scan does do a lot of damage from a bit of distance. I hit him with 3 shots there. We fired 4. I missed 1. He didn't go down. I hit him with 1 shot there. I honestly don't know where the other shots are even going to. Decent up close. Decent up close. And we're dead. Alright, you can have it. You can take it. I don't want it. Take it off me. You can have it. So, moving on to the Jupiter, we have 5 rounds for this energy clip. And she is also a bolt action. Let's get in, test it out in some arc, and test it out in a little bit of PvP. That's an instant crack right there. Instant crack. Armor fully depleted with that 1 shot. $427. That's a fair chunk right there. Directly to the core. Wonder is there a leaper around here we could test this out on? So there was no leaper, but better again, we found the Bastion. So we're going to put a couple of rounds into him and see what this feels like. The damage feels pretty decent right now. The only thing that's turning me off the Jupiter is the fact that it's bolt action, and also the fact that when I'm charging it up, massive lasers coming out of it. To use that in PvP, even using it in PvE, like if people see me using this weapon in PvE, they're gonna come and kill me because they know I'm using the Jupiter. And here we are, instantly being targeted by another player. Of all these raids we've done, this is the first player who's decided to target us. And I'm pretty sure it's because he sees that I'm using the Jupiter. But overall, the Jupiter actually feels pretty decent in PvE. The only downfall of it is its slow rate of fire with it being a bolt action. One thing I have noticed out of all 3 legendary weapons that I've used so far, I have to give it to the Aelion that it definitely had the best durability out of all of these weapons. Handles the fireball in 1 shot as expected, and it did indeed take 2 shots to take down that Hornet. While the sleeper did have a little bit of damage done to him already, this weapon already feels 100 times better than the Aelion against certain arcs. So the matriarch did indeed get killed in this round, and now all we gotta do is go in and kill the queen and test out a little bit more PvP, and then we can give a proper verdict on the Jupiter. Okay, bro, okay. Okay. Sorry, are you okay? So as you've seen, that is a lot of damage from the Jupiter there. That is an instant full crack on his shield. If you were to combine that with another weapon, it would be very good in PvP for taking down people super quick. This is a perfect time to test out the hit scan damage on the Jupiter. Alright, we took down that Rocketeer fairly easy. The fact that he was halfway across the map and we can just hit scan him from that range, that's pretty impressive. So after fighting the queen here with the Jupiter, I do feel like this has a ton more damage than the Aelion. The only downfall to this weapon is the slow rate of fire. If you're going to be fighting the queen as a solo, you definitely will struggle a little bit with time and getting that done. You will 100% need a couple of wolf packs, but doing this with other players, the Aelion will tear the queen apart. It takes off the armor super quick, which is very, very good. Any of these legendary weapons are really good for taking off armor. So if you're doing this in trios and you have 3 doing a lot of damage on the queen, taking off a load of armor, it's so much easier to hit them little sweet spots once you're using these legendary weapons because of how quick they actually penetrate the armor and take the armor off these heavies. But overall, the Jupiter definitely feels a lot better than the Aelion. I would recommend though, if you're using it in PvP, to tag them up once and then use whatever secondary you have to finish them off, as the charge up time is pretty slow on this weapon. So for the final legendary weapon, we have the Equalizer, which has a magazine size of 50, and the arc penetration is also very strong on this one. So as I only got the blueprints for the Equalizer today, I did indeed only get to fight the queen and some of the other arc. I didn't actually get the chance to fight the matriarch, as by the time I got the blueprint today, the window was already closed, unless I got into the late raid, which is later on tonight, and then I wouldn't have got this video edited for you guys. But from fighting the queen, I can tell you guys that the Equalizer is absolutely phenomenal. It's so much fun to use. The fact that the magazine size is 50 and you actually do tear apart at her armor. The fact that you don't have to stop and reload is a lot of fun while you're fighting her. It makes the experience a lot more enjoyable that I don't have to reload my gun every like 2 seconds. The only bad thing about the Equalizer is the fact that it's a beam rifle. The fact that every time I shoot this thing, even if I am from range or up close, is that the thing is, a lot of people are probably going to see exactly where I'm shooting from and come and try kill me. Out of all 3 weapons so far, the Equalizer definitely felt the best against the queen 100%. And I'm pretty sure it would feel the best against the matriarch also. So now it's time to test it out on some other arc. Okay, that felt pretty good against the Rocketeer. So I want to shoot this guy with the Equalizer to see how much damage it does. I'm not going to finish him off though. I just want to see how much damage it takes to down the guy. And that did indeed down him super quick. Now, it was all headshots, but that was very quick to down him. All right. That's pretty decent. That's a quick enough TTK on them 2 arcs. Thing feels like the hammer on from Gears of War. That's crazy. Hey, I killed the guy that was shooting you. If you want to come out and take his loot. Hey, what's up? Yeah, there's some loot there beside you on the left. I don't want that. You can take it. I just killed the guy that was shooting you.
I owe you one.
No problem, man. Here, you had this if you want it.
Found a knocked out raider. Over here.
Thank you.
You can take them. So while I only did get to do a small bit of PvP with the Equalizer, it still felt super strong. You've seen how quick I wiped that guy with the Equalizer. It is very good in PvP, also very good in PvE, but the only downfall is the massive laser beam coming out of it because it's a beam rifle. So the real question is, which is the best for PvP, which is the best for PvE? So with 1 star being the worst and 3 stars being the best, we're going to start off on the Aelion on this one. So starting off with PvP, I think I would give the Aelion 2 stars out of 3. It actually felt pretty decent. I felt like I could definitely compete with some weapons such as the Furrow and the Anvil with this gun. It definitely did let me down a little bit at range, considering it is a hit scan as well. I thought the damage would have been a lot better at range, but overall not a bad weapon in PvP. So moving on to the Equalizer, overall a solid PvP weapon. It cuts the shield down super quick, and the fact that the magazine size is 50 is insane. I would definitely recommend using the Equalizer in PvP. It's a lot of fun and it shreds super quick. The only downfall of this gun is the fact that it is a beam rifle. I am putting the Equalizer at 3 stars for PvP. So for the Jupiter, I'm going to have to give this one 2 stars, as the slow charge up time is the only thing from stopping it getting 3 stars in PvP. But the Jupiter's damage is absolutely incredible. It is really good. The only thing is the fire rate is super low. So for PvE, I am definitely going to be giving the Aelion 1 star on this one. I think this gun definitely needs some sort of patch to give it a little bit more damage. It feels absolutely terrible. Its damage is really low at the moment. So that is 1 star for the Aelion in PvE for me. And next we have the Equalizer in PvE. I thought the Equalizer felt pretty good. On the charts it shows that the Equalizer's damage is less than the Aelion, but honestly it did not feel like that. The Equalizer felt like it had a lot more damage than the Aelion, so I am going to be giving the Equalizer a solid. I'm going to be giving the Equalizer 2 stars in PvE. The only reason why she's not getting the full 3 stars is the fact that it's a beam rifle. The fact that I can be shooting any sort of arc and everyone can just see where I'm shooting from is the only thing that's giving it 2 stars. And then lastly we have the Jupiter for PvE. Now the downfall of this weapon definitely is the bolt action and low rate of fire, but overall it is a high damage weapon. It is pretty good. It is very solid. I'm going to give it a solid 2 stars as well. These are just my ratings on the weapons. Some people might use these legendary weapons and think the complete opposite. Another thing to take into mind is the weight of the weapons as well. Some weapons weigh more, some weapons weigh less. I didn't get too in depth into it. I just went in and tested them out on Arkham players, and I gave you my opinion on what I think was the best and the worst. I would definitely recommend using a hull cracker though over any of these any day. In PvE anyways, but the fact that you can't really use the hull cracker in PvP is the only downfall to it. I have seen a couple of clips of people using the hull cracker in PvP. It's terrible. You have to hit a direct hit and it doesn't do as near as much damage as any of these legendary weapons. But they are all pretty solid, to be honest, apart from the Aelion. I'd highly recommend even just trying to get these just to test them out yourselves. That's all for now, and I shall talk to you in the next one.